Good morning, dear friends. What a blessing to be reunited in prayer. Every new day is a new beginning. We are reborn to become anew. We need to end this reincarnation being different, and it depends on our openness to the new. Today, Emmanuel, through the hands of Chico Xavier, in the Book of Hope, chapter 28, he will help us by talking about the psychology of charity. This is the very title of the message. Since he is writing this book in tribute to the Gospel according to Spiritism, he quotes Jesus in Matthew 7:12, when Jesus said, "Do to men whatever you want them to do to you, for this is what the law and the prophets consist of." And in chapter 11, item 4 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, Kardec said, to love our neighbor as ourselves, to do for others what we would like others to do for us, is the most complete expression of charity. It sums up all the duties of human beings towards their neighbors. I know for you and I, this is quite not new, but let's seek the new. As he's saying, the psychology of charity. Emmanuel now writes to us. Probably, there is not in any topic of the world literature a more expressive figure than that of the generous Samaritan, presented by Jesus to define the psychology of charity. Bumping into the victim of anonymous malefactors, half dead on the road, two religious men, people most suited to the care of charity, passed by, but they kept on the road, fearing complications. But the Samaritan man who was traveling sees the unfortunate man and is touched by compassion. He doesn't know who he is. Ignorance. He ignores his origin. He does not restrict himself, but to the emotion. He stops and aids. He balms the bleeding wounds, putting him on the horse and leading him to an inn without the calculations that comfort usually brings in the name of prudence. He is not limited, however, to dumping the needy at someone else's door. He goes into the place with him and gives the needy the special care. The next day, when he leaves, he is not indifferent. He pays the bills, guarantees the man as if he were a family member, and he undertakes to redeem his subsequent debts without demanding the slightest sign of identity and without fixing tributes of gratitude. When saying goodbye, the Samaritan man does not hold the beneficiary in any recommendation, and in the shelter from which he lives, he does not pronounce any demagoguery of words or attitudes to attract personal influence. In the exercise of the good, he offered his heart and his hands, his time and his work, his money and his responsibility. He gave of himself what he could without requests or inquiries. He felt and acted, he helped and passed. Whenever interested in learning to practice mercy and charity, let us remember the teaching of the Christ, and let us do the same. Sometimes we think we're so charitable. Are we? Are we indeed? Because we give, but we have expectations, right? We're looking forward to receiving something in return. That's not charity. When we calculate the convenience of giving, oh yeah, I can do that today because today I have nothing else to do. Yeah, I can do this because, it's just $1. So it's okay. It's not much for me. That's not charity. Mm-mm. It's calculated action, and that is not charity. Whenever there is personal interest, that's the rule of thumb. If we go to the Spirit's book, they say the worst imperfection we could have is personal interest. So if we want to evolve, we need to become selfless. Charity is about selflessness. So we need to rule out personal interest. What do I gain? Nothing. On the contrary, if you see the definition of altruism, it talks about putting other people's interest first, even at the cost of your own needs. This is altruism. We're far from it because we do things measuring. Yeah, I can do this because it's not bothering me. It's not getting me away from my work, my material needs, my family, my needs. That's not charity. Charity is this, as he's saying here. You do the good. You give your time, your work, your money, your responsibility, your hand and your hearts, and you ask nothing in return. You have zero expectation. See how far we are? Today is our day to exercise it. In thoughts, in feelings, in words, and in actions. If we do it, good for us. Remember, when Kardec asked the spirits, and it's published in the Spirit's book, if we are all going to evolve, why the rush? And they answer, well, the faster you get there, the happier you'll be. If we're suffering, it's a sign we have a lot to evolve. And who doesn't, friends? So let us then press on, as Emmanuel always says, and be happy by becoming a better person. Let us then meditate on this and exercise the beauty of charity in our lives, becoming selfless like the guardian angels. They don't think of themselves, they are always thinking of others. So shall we. Thank you, dear Lord, for another day, for the beauty of this message. We feel so privileged and privileged of knowing this message, while many people on earth don't know it quite yet. So we take the responsibility to spread and share it. We no longer want to be selfish, being a spiritist in the comfort of our homes and not multiplying the gifts received, actively sharing with other people in our lives. Everyone deserves to know these teachings that are profoundly liberating. We visualize our earth already deeply engaged in the reading of these books, in the studying of these books. That day will come when we know of it. We're getting closer and closer to that day. Meanwhile, may today be the day in which we become more charitable. We practice true charity, doing the good without expecting anything in return. And as Emmanuel said, may we keep the Good Samaritan in our minds as a reference for us. Thank you for the opportunity of being with you. Thank you for the opportunity of embracing everything you give us and co-creating with you. What an honor for us to think that we're co-creators. We visualize illuminated hands of your messengers applying the energy medicine onto us to bring the balm of serenity to our minds and bodies. We are safe. We trust your loving care, your providence. Indeed, dear Lord, nothing lacks for us. May we seek the good and look for the good in everything and everyone always. And we feel your protection and healing light pouring onto our family members, loved ones, friends, our universal family, incarnates and discarnates. Thank you for the blessing of this moment of togetherness, when we form a current of healing with you. We rejoice time and again and praise you, Lord, for your greatness. We visualize our homes being showered by the light of your love, spreading to our neighbors, traveling to the streets of our cities and states, protecting schools, hospitals, nursing homes, enveloping prisons in new hope, shelters, and refugee camps, and our beloved planet, enveloped in pure light. Thank you, God, and so be it. How privileged are we, friends, to have such a message that empowers us to the best of us. Let's celebrate the gift of the Spiritist message and multiply it. Do more, because the world needs more light. Let us join forces and become light workers. Thank you, friends, for joining us. Thank you, Felipe. Thank you, Rihanna. Thank you, Slavic. We wish you all live and on demand a beautiful day and night. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow here at Kardec Radio, where you and I are always nourishing our souls.